Hey everybody! So for this week's blog post, I wrote a blog on how to learn new skills. So believe it or not, there are a lot of different ways that you can practice learning new skills. I don't really enjoy learning new skills sometimes, but Justin likes to do new skills every single year.
I love new skills, yeah. And so every year I try to pick something that I either am not good at or don't know how to do and just try to learn how to do it. And I've gone through various different things, and then it sometimes is hard to like keep doing it or go back to them.
Yeah.
But I always feel like if you're learning something new, it sort of helps you get better at all the other things that you already know how to do too. And the skill of learning to do something new can be a useful skill to have.
Yeah. So for the video that goes along with the blog, we thought it would be fun if one of us learned a new skill. So what we're going to do, Justin is going to teach me a new skill. Mm-hmm. So he's going to teach me how to row. Now, when he suggested this as a skill, I did question if there was more to rowing than just pulling the paddle.
So first of all, the first thing is we don't call it a paddle.
Whatever it's called.
We like to call it an oar.
It's an oar.
Yeah.
We have one here.
There is one in the background, yes.
Yeah. But he says there's more to it than just pulling it. So I'm willing to learn.
Yeah. So we're going to do it on the rowing machine.
Yeah.
Because it is getting to be fall here.
Yeah.
And when you're learning to row, you tend to fall in the water. We don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And so it's a little more efficient, and it does kind of carry over, but there will be no oar on the rowing machine.
No oar on the rowing machine.
Yeah.
And no paddle.
No paddle. Right. Exactly. Okay. But hopefully you guys can kind of follow along and watch. And what we'll try and do too is we'll get some other videos up on Instagram and other places of Meg's progress and how she's doing with it. Mm-hmm. And then if you know how to row, then feel free to comment below and offer some critiques
tell me
about like how she's doing. And you could also offer critiques on my coaching.
There we go.
All right, let's go for a tour. All right, so now we're going to run Meg through a quick rowing lesson so we give her something to practice going forward. So obviously, when you're learning something new, it's super helpful if you can have an expert, somebody who's extremely skilled in the activity to demonstrate it, all those things. So setting up the machine, first thing you want to do is there's a little lever on the side. I like to keep it around 5 because it gives you some resistance to pull off of. Keep this nice and high so that your gaze is high. You don't want to sort of like slouch down and look down. And then you want to set up your feet so your feet can go in so that like your big toe is sort of right at that lip. And then what we're looking for is sitting up super tall. When you're learning, it's easiest if you start back here. So they call this the finish. So if you start here, and then the goal is your arms move, then you hinge at your hips, and then as your hands pass your knees start to slowly rise. And then ideally, we don't want your heels lifting up from there. And then from here, you just reverse that process. So then it's legs, back, arms. And your goal is to keep it nice and smooth so that it's an easy, smooth motion. And the big thing to watch out for on the machine is that the chain stays relatively parallel to the floor. So you don't want a ton of like up and down movement like that, because in the water, that would translate to the oar or paddle going up and down or in the water weird and makes the boat sort of tip around. All right, so now it's Meg's turn. All right, perfect. So just so that there's no doubt, Meg is learning to do this. John's also learning a new skill behind the camera here. He's learning to actually record the videos in the proper orientation with all the sound working and in focus. So if anything's out of focus or the sound is bad, we know why.
I don't want to brag, but nailed it.
Nailed it, yeah. Thanks to post-production. All right, so Meg, so go through, shoes look good.
Yes.
All right, so sit up nice and tall. Good.
I don't know if I have the flexibility for this.
Or handle like right at your rib cage. Good. Yep, right there. Sit up good. Okay. Now, you're going to go arms. There you go. Back, legs. Yeah. Keep going as far this way as you can. There you go. Good. Come back. Now, keep it slow so that you go arms. Nope. Yeah. You forgot your back. Right. So arms, back. Now legs. Keep going. Keep going. There. And now legs. legs,
Legs.
back,
Back.
arms. There you go. So in the beginning when you're learning, it pays to really segment it so that you get the technique right. And basically it gives you the most leverage and also make sure you don't like hurt your back.
Yeah, you need a lot of dorsiflexion for this.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Says the soccer player.
It doesn't feel like I'm doing anything,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Well, you'd have to pull a little harder. Good. So now give some force. Yeah.
Very good.
Good. Get the yeah.
It still doesn't feel a lot like anything, but I don't know that I have the technique down yet.
Right. So it's more about building the technique in the beginning than doing
That
generating
was
the force. So you could feel like if you really pulled hard, yeah. See how your butt kind of goes back?
Yeah.
Right? Before your arms. So you want to be back in. There you go. Yeah. Come forward. Back. Arms. Good. Now drive. Yeah. Yep. So as you're doing it, right, when you're here, if you're not connected to the machine, then what'll happen is when your legs move, your hips go back. But see how like my hands didn't move?
Oh, I didn't pull.
Right? But yeah, on the water, that would mean like you used your legs without using your arms, so you didn't move the oar at all with it.
Mm-hmm. So you have to,
Yeah, there you go.
that feels more like you're doing something.
Right. And so that's where a lot of people who are learning to do this, or you see people like in the gym doing it who don't know, and they look like they're moving like really fast and working super hard. Yeah,
like
exactly. But not accomplishing anything.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's where you want to try and work the technique to kind of
Okay.
build up through there.
All right.
So we'll leave it here,
Okay.
and then we'll come back after a couple weeks
Okay.
and see what it looks like. And then what Meg doesn't know is at the very end, we'll have her do a 2,000 meter test and see what she can do and where it is.
How long does that take?
2,000 meters?
For people that don't.
Somewhere around like 7 to 8 minutes, I'm guessing, is what you want to be
You
like.
have to do it. Yeah.
Consistently. You
whole
can't like
time.
stop and take a water break. It's not soccer.
Well, we'll see how tiring it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Compared to like running.
Oh my. Nice. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Do it.